Here we are at the Theodore Cornell Mansion. Theodore Cornell had this house built in 1885 on the site of the old Cornell farm, which appears in 19th century paintings by Edward Hicks. The house is very unusual in that it's eclectic with a variety of elements found in a number of styles. It is a brownstone house with random brownstone. It has some mansardic tower in the front and other details that are a combination of Queen Anne style, Italianate style, and Second Empire style. On the side of the house, you see these real nice two-story bay windows. And they provide some very interesting spaces on the inside. Above the windows, you see the slate siding. You have segmental slate, which in this case are highlighted with red paint, and regular standard butt-edged shingles. The bay windows have these cut corners, and above the cut corners, you see these detailed heavy brackets which support the third floor. The crowning element of the Theodore Cornell house is the tall mansard roof tower surmounted by a tiny little gable. The gable itself is highlighted with incised carvings and really is designed to crown the entire building. The story goes that Theodore Cornell wanted a tower higher than that on the house of his cousin Adrian Cornell, located across the valley from where we are. The 1848 painting by Edward Hicks of the Cornell farm shows the spring house and a bridge leading across a pathway to the former barn. Today, the bridge remains on a neighbor's property, and the spring house is still here, but not in very good condition. Hi. The first thing you notice when you walk in the Theodore Cornell Mansion is the rich doorway. It is a magnificently carved door, a double door, and a very elegant and unusual doorknob. Once inside the house, you're immediately drawn to this beautiful, large newel post. It's one of the most detailed ones you'll see in Northampton. Typical of the 1880s, it has a lot of different elements all into one thing. There's a very nicely detailed top, little dentils, larger dentils here, and a nice flower motif repeated several times on it. The newel post anchors a beautiful Victorian stairway that goes up 3 stories to the top of this magnificent mansion. Theodore Cornell was justifiably proud of his Victorian house. Not only does his name appear on the outside of the house, but his initials are carved into the etched glass above the transom. As we walk into the front parlor of the house, we see yet another example of the detailing that made Victorian homes so beautiful. This doorway has nice carving on the door itself, but the hardware is also outstandingly detailed and shows the high degree of sophistication we find in this mansion. This house retains a remarkable amount of detail. The jambs are paneled and match the panel pattern in the doors. The original windows, which are still pegged, and even the detailed Victorian sash hardware are all still evident in this house. But the highlight of the front parlor is the fireplace. It is a beautiful, beautiful cut and carved Italian marble fireplace. So some of the details are found in here, and a little bit hard to see, but all this incised tulips and detailing all the way down, and of course the rich multicolored marble itself makes this an outstanding example of a Victorian period fireplace. The fireplace is so nice, it's easy to forget to look up and see the beautiful plastered medallion and dramatic plastered cornice in this room. Wide pocket doors connect the front parlor to the rear parlor. Again, the doors are highlighted with the same carving we saw and yet more detailed hardware. The highlight of this room is this large alcove that's formed by the projecting bays we saw on the outside of the building. The Cornells ate in this bright, airy dining room. It is also beautiful. It has an alcove like we saw on the opposite corner of the house. And the medallion in this room, as we've seen in Victorian dining rooms before, reflects a food motif. Between the dining room and kitchen of the Cornell house is a servant's stair with an outside entrance. The transom here is red, and not as ornate as the one on the front door, but again, another example of the detail that went into the Cornell's house.